Kessan Fires were never supposed to happen, but that's exactly why they did. Kessan wasn't a war zone, not officially. It was a testbed, a controlled instability cluster. That's what they called it in the reports. It started with a communications blackout, not accidental, not a failure. Engineered silence, every relay, every satcom, every interlink channel severed in sequence. No way in, no way out. Then came the curfew drones, not government, not local security. Private contracts, leased to stabilize unrest. There was no unrest, just people, workers, students, families. They fabricated the narrative, uploaded old footage, looped explosions from a riot 2 sectors over, painted Kessan red in the emergency feeds. Then they deployed the beam arrays. They came from orbit, high altitude lattice strikes, targeted plasma lances designed to melt infrastructure while minimizing asset loss. Not soldiers, not armed resistance, just buildings, hospital, schools, residential stacks. They called them liability zones. People tried to flee, tried to organize, tried to make sense of what was happening. But when the thermal ceilings broke, the air turned liquid, entire apartment blocks cooked from the inside out. People burned alive trying to pull others from stairwells. Water lines exploded into steam. Firewalls collapsed. Escape tunnels flooded with smoke and bodies. Emergency responders stopped responding, and above it all, the drones. White, clean, silent. Finally, between the lattice bursts, filming it, cataloging it, because it wasn't just an extermination, it was a field trip. They were measuring effectiveness, timing evacuations, testing beam dispersal patterns across a living city. No warning, no negotiation, just Operation Compliance Index, what the class file called it. Because Kessan was non-compliant, they voted down a resource agreement, refused to lease their hydrogen cores to the central fleet. They weren't armed, they weren't rebels, they were independent, and that's all it took. Destroying them was cheaper than debating them. A mother pulling her child from a collapsed stairwell, only for the air to flash white and peel the skin away in 1 second. A hospital triage ward turned into a mass grave, and the roof buckled and all the oxygen lines caught. A man screaming over a comm unit with no signal, clutching a fire-scorched corpse so tightly his arms fused to the bone, eyes boiled in sockets, skin fused to rubble, hands reaching out of flame retardant shelters that didn't hold. And the worst part, the silence from above, no voice, no warning, no explanation, just the hum of clean war and the beam arrays lighting up the horizon like God changing his mind. John 1's supposed to live through that 12 years old, hidden behind a trash compactor in a mid-level mechanics district. His parents vaporized in the second wave of school, atomized. He didn't cry, didn't scream, he just held on to a snap tether and waited for the fire to reach him. But it didn't. That was the day the pirate broke formation. That was the day someone looked down, saw what was happening and said no, cause it didn't need to narrate eating. Kessan was the radiating, not a war, a demonstration. One the fleet tried to bury, one the pirate never forgotten, one John carried with him every second of his life after. That's why he understood what they were doing, that's why I found his voice in wires and smoke. And that's why when the thought first lit its engines, he was the one who knew exactly where they were going. Back to the lie, to burn it in return. We found him in the Kessan Fires, 12 years old, barefoot, covered in soot, and someone else's blood, clutching the snap tether line like it was a lifeline to a world that hadn't just ended. The city had been burning for 3 days by then. No more air support, no more evac corridors, just firestorms and the silence that follows after too much screaming. We almost missed him. He wasn't calling for help, wasn't running, just sitting at the edge of a shattered stairwell, watching the school collapse in on itself like a folding star. The pirate saw him first, didn't ask Torrance course, didn't ask whose kid he was, just dropped the ramp and walked out into the smoke. Watched from the hatch, breath held, thinking maybe the boy would run. Instead, he just looked up at the figure in the coat, scorched, armored, unreal, and asked in a voice so quiet I thought I imagined it. Did they make it? We didn't lie. The pirate crouched down, looked him in the eyes. No. The boy nodded once, didn't cry, didn't flinch. Then he stood, didn't even look back as he walked onto the ship, like he knew it was the only direction left. He didn't speak for weeks, just wandered the lower corridors, sleeping near warm vents, staring out portholes at stars that didn't matter yet. We fed him, we gave him space. We didn't try to fix what we couldn't reach, but it was Quell, the engineer, who cracked him open. She found him curled near the reactor conduit, tracing a pattern in the floor grating with a loose wire. Didn't say anything for 10 minutes, then finally, if you're gonna play with cable, then you might as well learn how to use it. Tossed him a toolkit, no explanation. That night he started shadowing her, every shift, every cycle, quiet but present, learning. It wasn't until the ship took its first direct hit that we heard him speak again. Alarm screaming, bulkhead shaking, Quell down with the concussion, the reactor fluxing bad. He grabbed the comm, I need someone in conduit B7 now, red wires arcing. It wasn't loud, wasn't a command, but it was his voice. Clear, focused, anchored. Someone answered, the fix got made, we made it out. And after the burn cooled, he sat on the deck beside Quill Stretcher, holding her toolkit with both hands, and whispered, I remember what she said, I didn't cross the yellow line. He became part of the ship after that, not by title, not by ceremony, just by being there, fixing things before we knew they were broken, sleeping in crawl spaces, marking jumps on the hole like it helped him track time. Still quiet, still shadow-eyed, but alive. We didn't know what he'd become, didn't know he'd be the one to hold the come during rescues, didn't know he'd be the voice they listened to in the fire, didn't know how much of us would end up living inside, and we just knew he survived. And now every time we answer a distress call, I swear I hear him in the tone of the engines. The boy we pulled from the fires, the boy who stopped asking why, the boy who said, and yeah, I'm here, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here, and meant it.